OH.
IO.
Welcome into another episode of Hill Talk Sports. We are a little delayed from last week. Had a couple things we had to take care of, but we are back here live on Monday night, kicking it live in studio or wherever the hell we at, doing this show for you guys and having a little fun. I'm a little perturbed tonight about the situation that went down yesterday, as most of Cleveland should be. But there's a lot of homers out there that think everything's going to be okay. You know who you are. We talked about it earlier today. Anyways, I digress. Scott, how are you today, sir?
I'm good, man. Life is good. I'm not letting this sports team that I don't play for dictate my weekends or my life or even my Sunday. Well, I say that, and I was livid yesterday, but, it's not as bad as it would have been in the past. I've just move on, move forward, because this isn't even the worst loss the Browns have ever had. I remember the Bears game. The only other time a team's blown a 13-point or greater lead in the last 2 minutes of a game. But I remember that one. We were up 14 with 13 seconds left and lost that one. So,
but again, we have a team that is on paper in the media, Super Bowl bound, Super Bowl worthy, you could say. But here we are with a minute or whatever left in the game, and they totally blow it. A lot of fingers to point. The big finger goes to the defense all day. As much talk we've had about Brissett and how he may not be that good, or he's not a viable backup to get us to a position for Deshaun to take over, at least in the playoffs, I am under the assumption that we're not going to even have a record good enough to make it to the playoffs when Deshaun comes back. Plus, on top of that, Scott, I've been having this argument with people around that I don't think that Deshaun would be the answer we're looking for at that point in the season when week 12 gets here, because you got to understand this guy ain't played in 2 years. He's going to play in 5 cold weather games outdoors. He's going to be rusty. There was even a conversation earlier today with a coworker that said maybe they should consider sitting Deshaun for the rest of the year when he is eligible to come back. What if they come out there and they're under 500? Deshaun comes back in. They lose the first 2 games. So they're out. But then the third game, you're still playing Deshaun. He gets injured. He gets injured. And it's an injury where he has to have surgery and may be out for the start of next year. Now you have your $230 investment on the shelf for 2 years now.
Well, here's the thing. Without rehashing lots of stuff, I'd trade him now. By the way, I'd trade him now if I could get the draft picks back. If I could trade him now for the 3 draft picks back, I'd trade him now and clear up the cap room and be able to do things like sign Kareem Hunt, keep Jadeveon Clowney, and get ready to draft a quarterback or look for another free agent solution in the future. And that's not because I believe that Jacoby Brissett is phenomenal, but Jacoby Brissett should have the Browns at 2-0. And Jacoby Brissett was definitely good enough yesterday, did what Baker Mayfield couldn't figure out how to do, and made enough passes downfield with the Cleveland Browns so that Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt could put a game away. And I do say put a game away because all that the head coach had to do was take the knee 4 times after the Jets were out of timeouts and we had a first down under 2 minutes, but he didn't do that. Jacoby Brissett can win you football games. And honestly, this is going to sound weird coming from me, but I think the Browns still go out and win the next 2. I think you're 3-1 after 4 games, and then you figure out how to go 3-1 in the next set of 4. That said, I envision a scenario where the Cleveland Browns are 7-4, 8-3 when Deshaun Watson comes back. and end up losing 5 of 6 down the stretch because Deshaun Watson hasn't played a football game in 2.5 years. And he's going to need a lot of reps in practice and in the game to be ready to play at NFL speed. It's like a boxer who takes a couple years off and decides to fight. Look at what Gennady Golovkin showed up old and slow versus Canelo Alvarez on Saturday. It happens. If you're not getting reps, if you're not getting practice, it takes you a minute to get back up to game speed. You don't just walk out there and see the game at the speed that you need to see the game. So, yeah, I always thought that trading for Deshaun Watson was pretty much punting this year when you knew that he wasn't going to be ready to go from the beginning. Because he's not going to be ready to play. I can tell you that right now. The good thing is he won't have to do much when he is back. But if you're expecting to get the good Deshaun Watson in week 12, 13, or 14, I think you're crazy. I don't think that's coming. I don't think you just don't get to practice for 11 weeks with a new offense and show up in week 12 with a full week of practice and some film study and you're ready to go. This isn't, rec league. This is the highest level of competition you can compete at. And you need to be practicing. You need to have your reps in. You need to have your familiarity with your system to succeed. I don't care how good you are. You're not just going to bring Tom Brady into the Cleveland Browns next week and give him 1 week of film study and have him look like his best. And he's playing. You're not going to bring in, Russell Wilson is not at his best at the moment. You're just not going to bring guys in. And these guys have reps. Deshaun Watson has a tall task ahead of him. And look, there's 1,000,001 reasons why I wasn't big in the Deshaun Watson trade, and it wasn't about Deshaun Watson's talent and ability to play the position. It's about how much you're giving away before he's ready to play. And if he gets injured in game 3 and he misses most of next year in a full off season again, the guy may never come back and be the same. There's a point where you just don't pick it up and start playing at game speed again because you've been gone too long.
So, to take what you said, that whole thing about trading Deshaun, I don't hate that idea simply because I don't feel like him playing this year is going to help us if we're not in a position already to strike at the playoffs. This is what I'm thinking here.
Oh, it's not going to happen, by the way, either. They're not trading him. But
I know that.
I wish
I don't hate the idea. I don't hate the idea as you said it. Usually I'd be like, oh, no, but I don't hate the idea, especially if you get draft picks back and get somebody else, which honestly, I would probably go after Jimmy G because he only got 1 year deal with San Fran. But they might extend that now because trade's out again. So I just want to put it like this. We got the Steelers coming in town Thursday night. When they first signed Mitch Trubisky, I said, oh, no, here we go. People were like, what do you mean? Another Ohio kid that's going to Pittsburgh that's going to haunt us now. Okay, keep that in mind. I think Mitch going to light us up Thursday night, by the way. I'm just saying.
He might.
Then you got – and here's the thing that's going to piss me off. Week 4.
I think C.J. Stroud could light us up right now.
What's really going to make me mad is the Falcons game. That is a super-duper trap game, and we're going to lose that game too. Follow me now. Down the rabbit hole, about to go down. The quarterbacks you're going to face after that with the secondary where they're playing right now in the defense, you're going to face Trubisky. You're going to face Mariota. You're going to face San Fran guy. Not the San Fran guy. Chargers. Gilbert? Is that it?
Yeah, Herbert.
Herbert. Then you got, well, who's New England playing right now? Who's the Eagles quarterback right now? Is that guy hurt? Is Mac hurt?
Matt Jones? No, not Matt Jones.
I thought he was hurt. Regardless, you got Belichick. Okay. Then you got Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow's shaky ground right now. We'll see what they're doing by the time we get to them. Then you got Tua, who's hot right now. He could cool off by then. But then you got the Bills. You got Tom Brady, bro. All before Deshaun comes back. These quarterbacks we're going to play are better. You could say they're as good as or better than Baker, who we beat barely, and Flacco, who's now 19-3 against the Browns.
So here's the thing. All right, I don't usually do this. And trust me, I'm going to get angry and I'm going to rant here. And it may lead right into it right here from this.
Get the button ready.
But before I get there, I'm going to tell you why I do believe that this is fixable. And this isn't like most years where I say There's no hope. Talent is on the Browns side in every one of those matchups. That may sound insane based on what I just said, but talent is on the Browns side. You saw how good talent period. Talent period is on the Browns side on the field, between the sidelines, sideline to sideline, not on the sideline, but sideline to sideline.
Talent ain't working hard right now, though.
Talent is working really hard to cover an absolutely terrible scheme and head coaches that are clueless. But we're going to get to that. That's part of the rant. The talent's there. The problem right now that's going on is schematic, but these things can be fixed. You can look at some of the stuff that was screwed up in tape and fix that. And honestly, some people better, they're not going to have a job much past week 6. And I don't even know how. But the first week, people were all worried about Jacoby Brissett. But he hadn't had a full real week of practice as the guy with the ones. He didn't get enough game reps in the preseason. So, of course, he looked very, very bad. This week, he got to work with the game plan, do the full week of film study, go to work every single day, practice, got a full week of reps, had that game, full game work under him. And Jacoby Brissett came out and looked like the guy that most people thought he could be. A guy who can make some short throws when the routes are there, a guy who can make some medium and deep range throws. He's got a good arm. He can make all the throws in the field. He takes care of the ball for the most part. He did press on that last pass, and yes, he shouldn't have, but come on, man. I'm not going to blame him for that. Aside from one pass, Jacoby Brissett looked better than any quarterback play I saw last year, and any quarterback play I saw in 2019, and any quarterback play I saw in almost every single year in 2016 and before. Jacoby Brissett played a damn fine game on Sunday. Can't blame him. You also have Nick Chubb, and you have Kareem Hunt. And that 1-2 combination did exactly what it's supposed to do. They're body blows. You control the time of possession. You pound away at the defense, and you have a completely fresh Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt that did exactly what it's supposed to do and destroyed a defense in the last half of the fourth quarter. And the Browns were up 30-17. Everything went the way it's supposed to. Absolutely everything except for a missed extra point, and even that shouldn't have mattered. Honestly, the game should have been over at 24-17 because you had the game done and your idiot head coach just had to be able to monitor the clock and realize that he can take 4 knees, and even if they get the ball back, they're not going to have enough time to drive the length of the field and win. Or he could have kicked the field goal and still, I don't even know if they had to take another snap. There was like 1:55 left. Okay? Don't blame Nick Chubb. Kevin Stefanski called the damn play. Nick Chubb just executed it. But beyond that, how is Joe Woods still the head coach? How was the defensive coordinator? How did Kevin Stefanski not fire Joe Woods before the onside kick was attempted? The way this should have went was Kevin Stefanski should have walked down the sideline, slapped Joe Woods across the side of the head, threw the headphones down and said, get your ass to the locker room and clean your shit out because you're done. You're up 2 touchdowns. You're up 13 points with 1 minute and 50-some seconds left. 1:40 when they threw that pass. No timeouts. 13 points. The only thing that beats you is a quick strike. And Joe Moron Woods sends out a 4-3 base. Now, I've looked at it. It is a 4-3 base personnel. And we blitz 4. We have 3 linebackers dropping back. And we have a cover 2 shell with our safeties. Grant Delpit has half the field, and Johnson has half the field. There's you have the corner on the defense's right side is dropping back with his man, and Denzel Ward for some reason thinks he just has short zone and he can just drop and pass. The snap happens, and Denzel Ward in front of him watches JOK flash to the up route. Now, all that Denzel Ward has in front of him is a man on a go route and a flat route that JOK is already taking away. The ball is still in Flacco's hand, and there's 3 yards of separation as he's getting ready to throw the ball, staring down the go route, rearing back to throw it, clearly doing that, and Denzel Ward stops running. Grant Delpit, meantime, is watching the whole play, watching Denzel Ward eat a sandwich, watching JOK do what he's supposed to do and attack the short route, watching the receiver streak by him, watching Flacco load up. And the only thing he did before that ball left his hand was drift 6 yards towards the people John Johnson is already covering, and there's no wide receiver going to that direction and back up 3 yards. So we have two people who, I don't know if they're point shaving. I don't know if they want to get the defensive coordinator fired. I don't know if they bet against the Browns. We have two people who have played football all their life. Even if the play was for a soft cover 2 zone, for Ward to pass off to a safety, and for Delpit to hold the middle of the field, once you see the play develop, Denzel Ward, and you see that there's nothing in front of you, and there's a guy going behind you, you just keep going. You drop. You go with that man. You adapt. The play has happened. The defensive scheme, it makes no sense for you to just kind of hang out and wait. Who's coming into his zone at that point? No one's coming into his zone. The other receivers are running away from him, and JOK's got the guy in front of him. I don't care what the pre-snap defense was. You're going with the guy, Grant Delpit. I don't really care if someone tried to audible at the last second to cover 3 and you thought Ward was supposed to be dropping back. You're watching the play. Denzel Ward is out to lunch, literally, not thinking, and you're just watching it, and you're drifting away from the play that's busted. Dude, you're part of the job as an NFL player is to look and say, oh, crap, he missed that. I'm watching it unfold, but you know what? My coverage is over here. I'm just going to let him be uncovered. You don't want it. That's terrible. That's stupidity. It is. Look, we got big problems here. And it all still comes back to Joe Woods. Because either you haven't coached up Grant Delpit, who has been blowing coverages right, left, and center the first 2 weeks. He's the reason that they had a walk-in touchdown last week. You're not coaching him up. You didn't learn from last week on a busted play. Or you're not coaching up Denzel Ward, who's in his, 4th year in the league and was a starter at Ohio State. This is stuff that you should know in Pop Warner football. If you're playing football 12 years old as a corner and a safety, and you're in zone, you should know this. There's no one in front of you. The guy in front of you is covered. Get depth. Hey, you're the safety. There is a guy streaking up the field, and there's a guy going this way on a double move or a move that you know you've got 2 guys over there who are in their position. Go help the guy who's out to lunch. And I mean, is Grant Delpit stupid? Is he just daddy cop? But it comes back to this. What are we calling here? Why? If you are calling anything other than a cover 4 quarter zone where you've got and you should have 6 defensive backs in the field, maybe 7. You should be at least in a dime package with 6 defensive backs. You should be rushing 3. You should have 4 people underneath in a 15 to 30 yard assignment and 4 people making sure that nobody gets behind them. And everybody should be making sure nobody gets behind you. Hey, guy comes into your zone and he leaves your zone behind you. Keep going. Doesn't matter if you're the first level or the second level. No one gets behind you here because you're up 13. There's a reason NFL teams up 13 points inside of 2 minutes are something like 2,249-2, with the Cleveland stupid Browns being the only 2 teams to lose. And I'm going to tell you why that is too. Because as I've been screaming for 22 years since the Browns came back, we don't ever hire a head coach who's been a head coach. We hire the next whiz kid offensive coordinator who's never done it before, and then we can't figure out why our offensive coordinators are Tweedledee and our defensive coordinators Tweedledum. Because if you're Kevin Stefanski, who had 1 full year as an offensive coordinator, with Gary Kubiak calling the plays, actually, not even his own playbook, they had Gary Kubiak brought in because Kevin Stefanski can't draw plays, and like, this idiot wants to run 3 wide receivers and run a rub route for the backup tight end instead of Stefon Diggs. So they brought Kubiak in because he's too stupid to call plays anyway, and he had 1 year as an offensive coordinator, and we said, we're going to make this guy our head coach. Now, who do you think he's going to go get as an offensive coordinator? You think he's going to go get someone who's been in the league for 8-10 years, someone who can call his own plays and doesn't need Gary Kubiak to wet nurse him through a season? No, with any self-respect is going to go work for Kevin 1 year Stefanski, who can't even call his own plays successfully without Gary Kubiak around. They're just not. They've got pride. Who are you going to get as a defensive coordinator? Then what's going on is it shows. Kevin Stefanski gets in here and he goes, well, I know how to call plays, even though I don't. So I'm going to do what got me here, and I'm going to keep calling plays. I can manage all of it. But you can't, Kevin, because you were too wrapped up in your next play call to realize that all you had to do was sit in the damn ball. And you're still so overwhelmed that when Joe Woods' brain kickstalls into neutral and sends out a 4-3 base up 13 when you should be playing prevent, you still don't take charge. You're like, that sounds good to me. Kevin Stefanski. Let me figure out what plays I'm going to call when I get the ball back. I know I should do 3 knees, but maybe I should do reverse to David Njoku. I got to fix this, though. I got to be better. Kevin, you're supposed to run the whole thing. That's why you're supposed to be people play calling. So you can look over here and go, Joe Woods is high. I better take over. This is not happening. And we do this every time. Every time we bring in someone who's never done the job before and we say, will you do the job? You have no experience. Oh, I wonder why our head coaches are morons. I mean, we had, who was Freddie Kitchens' offensive coordinator? Freddie Kitchens was a tight end coach before he became the interim offensive coordinator for 8 games. And they made him the head coach. Who is going to serve on an assistant tight end coach's staff? Where you going for this? You going to St. Ed's? Where you going? Nothing against St. Ed's. Literally only in Cleveland. The NFL's 2,249-2. And it's us.
Yep.
You know why it's us? Because we hire incompetent head coaches over and over and over and over. I don't understand why these idiots can't figure out clock management. I don't understand why you can't figure out how to be in a 4-3 base. I can't understand why they can't coach up Grant Delpit to realize where his coverage is. Because these guys walked their way into an offensive coordinator job, failed forward, shouldn't even had it because he's the only guy who ever can't use Stefon Diggs effectively. And we go, I wonder why he can't win games here as a head coach. Hire someone. Do you want to hire an offensive coordinator now to retread loser? Okay. Can we look at an offensive coordinator who's been in the league for 12 years or has a successful track record and maybe has demonstrated he can run half the team? I reiterate this. Kevin Stefanski was an offensive coordinator who needed Gary Kubiak to come in out of retirement as a consultant because his play calling abilities were crap.
I've missed your rants. That wasn't an epic rant, but that was good. I felt the energy on that rant. I really did.
I had to tone it down, actually. This was in those static radio days. I had jokes that I've edited out.
That's fine. I toned it down a little bit. I got you. I understand.
There's also a baby sleeping in the next room, but I still probably broke up my daughter.
Probably. I texted you guys earlier and said, get the button ready because I was going to go off tonight. But I think I've calmed down. I've calmed down so much. I've calmed down a little bit. And just analyzing this game in my head and analyze. I still think it's over. I said today, the season's over right now. Week 2. And one of my buddies was like, oh, it's too early to say that. It's not too early to say that based on what they have shown me, based on their inability to correct themselves. You said something earlier, Scott. You said it can be corrected. Obviously, it cannot be corrected. It can, but they had a week and didn't correct it. So they can correct it in 2 days. They're not going to correct it in 2 days. Here's what you do. Ass up Thursday night.
You might actually see the Browns defense look really good Thursday. You know why? Joe Woods doesn't have time to come up with fantastic zone schemes that puts 2 safeties to the right side of the field, no one to the left side of the field, and Denzel Ward in flat coverage. They're going to have to go simple man defense. This team is much better in man. You should be letting your corners play man.
Trubisky's going to throw for close to 300 yards against the Browns.
I don't think so. Look, Mike Tomlin probably thinks I've got a great game ahead of me here. I get the Cleveland Browns, but this is the thing. I don't think
you're getting cocky about it. He doesn't know how to beat us.
Myles Garrett is going. You were upset at Myles Garrett for not having a productive game. Myles Garrett might put Trubisky on the ground 3 times himself and a strip sack. Myles Garrett's going to destroy him. Hold on. I expect to see a simplified defense. I expect to see a very simplified defense that plays man coverage, a lot of man coverage on Thursday. And it's going to be very successful. And then the Browns should head into that long week and look at this and say, this team can't play zone because Grant Delpit is an idiot and Denzel Ward is a man cover. Denzel Ward is trash in zone. He's not a good zone cover. He's a very good man cover. So you know what? You got two corners that want to play man, play man. John Johnson is an aggressive, attacking, strong safety. Put him in the box more often than not and let him go be disruptive on running tight end. Let Grant Delpit do whatever Grant Delpit's going to do and let Myles Garrett go destroy people. That's it. And let JOK fly around like a man with his hair on fire. Simplify this. These guys can't play zone. They can attack the ball. They have no clue how to play zone. And in the meantime, can we just send Anthony Walker down the road? Nice guy, great guy, probably a great leader. He can't play. He can't. I mean, he's no good. Let's put Phillips there. That's it. The Browns this is fixable. Play a man. You're much better in man-to-man coverage. But don't play man with a rookie slot corner on Garrett Wilson within 10 yards of the line when you know he's going to run a slant and give him no help. Because that's indefensible. When it's a goal line play, you know you got to have some help over the middle, at least with a linebacker. Give him something. That's another Joe Woods. What are you doing? But you can also do something real quick, too. You can fire Joe Woods and hit the Ask Madden button. I'm going to tell you, you could have went with Ask a Fan for the defensive plays to call on that last set. And Ask a Fan would have came up with something better than 4-3 base Tampa 2.
So you have the Browns beating the Steelers Thursday night.
I do. The Steelers aren't good.
The Browns are better?
Yes. The Browns are significantly better. The Browns are a very good team. This team offensively, look, man, Peoples-Jones is better than people are giving him credit for. David Njoku is a matchup problem for any linebacker or safety or nickel back.
Why haven't we used him then?
Because we have an idiot head coach who needed Gary Kubiak to call his plays.
That is my entire point. All I'm saying. All the talent in the world don't mean shit if you call the wrong plays.
Yeah, but in the end, it won't matter because they were calling the wrong. They scored 30 points calling the wrong plays. They still scored 30 points.
And they gave up 13 and 2 in under 2 minutes.
Yeah, but that can be fixed.
2 weeks in a row, he did this.
That
20 to
can
7,
be fixed.
20 to 7. 20 to 7 in the fourth quarter against Baker Mayfield. And they can't take the lead. This week, Flacco takes the lead and wins the game.
I guarantee you if it happens again, a head coach and a coordinator's fired.
They ain't gonna fire in week 3. No.
If that happens again, you
know why? You know why they'll fire in week 3? Because the core of the whole problem, the biggest idiot in this whole situation, Mr. Jimmy Haslam, is an idiot and he ain't gonna pull that trigger. That's simple as that. He's going to doom himself to not.
If they blow a 13-point lead in the last 2 minutes, if they blow a 13-point lead in the last 2 minutes on a walk-in touchdown where you got two people going at each other on the field, he might at least fire a coordinator. If that happens again, Joe Woods is gone. I mean, I don't really care, man. I can go pick up a drunk
Woods ain't gone to
do a better job than Joe Woods right now.
I'll give you this right here. Oh, let me go back to the schedule.
T. You're a defensive coach. What would you have called?
What would you call that bullshit?
What personnel package would you have sent out at least?
I'm not going with a 4-man front and rushing 4.
No. Are you going cover? Are you going quarters?
I'm doing what you said earlier. The exact thing you said is exactly what I would have ran. Because you said it, you're running a base defense and they're going to chuck the ball down. So you know they got to score right away, right? No timeouts. They're going to run the ball? No, they're going to throw the ball down the damn field. We know they're going deep. So play back.
The whole Browns team quit and went to the locker room.
What happened?
They quit and went to the locker room. They decided they had won the game when Nick Chubb went across the end zone line.
Don't disagree with that.
Everybody at that point was thinking Arby's.
People were leaving the stadium thinking we won. By the time they got to West 6, they were like, why y'all looking so down? Why is everybody looking like this? Everybody's like, what happened? Then they saw the Jumbotron out there on West 6 and were like, we lost? It was ridiculous.
Man,
it was ridiculous.
We say only in Cleveland, but this is literally only in Cleveland. It's never happened the NFL is something like 2,249-2.
Now you did have other teams that took an L, not in that fashion, but they, I think Baltimore gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter, something like that. But we ain't talking about them right now. The whole division lost last week, which is crazy.
Yeah, and that's where the bright side is.
That is a bright side. it doesn't make me feel better, but it feel better. We had an advantage. We had an advantage over everybody else if we had held on and won that game.
Yeah.
We at top. We're 2-0. Everybody else is 1-1 or 0-2. So we got an advantage right now. We got a lead. Now I feel comfortable playing Pittsburgh. Now I feel more relaxed playing Pittsburgh because we didn't make boneheaded mistakes. The reason I'm saying it's over is because if they don't correct the mistakes you're talking about, it is over. Because
let me ask you a question, though.
You're not going to beat quarterbacks that coming up with playing the way you're playing right now.
You know, we're not even going to say that Nick Chubb takes the knee. The Browns get off the field and they win that game 30-17. How do you feel today?
I'm good. I'm happy.
I'm happy. Pretend you never saw the last minute.
I feel confident.
I feel real. The team that played for defensively, offensively, the way the game was coached, for 58 minutes and 15 seconds of game, or 58 minutes and 5 seconds of gameplay, the Browns were good. They won a game with a journeyman backup quarterback. They put up 30. They had a great balance of run versus pass. They executed a game plan to a T. Kevin Stefanski had a brilliant script, and Joe Woods did enough defensively with his game plan and calling for them to be in a position where they should have won the game. But this is where the breakdowns happen. This is the difference between being a professional and a guy who probably shouldn't be calling plays in the league. And this is not the first time it's happened. It happened last week. It happened last year. It's happened before. This is a thing that follows Kevin Stefanski around. It's following Woods around. It just is. This is not a good coaching staff. That said, if they get it together and the coaches simply put their players in a position to make plays and win, this team will win a lot of football games. And I'm not so worried about that New England game. Mac Jones, I think it's Mac Jones, doesn't really scare me too much. Okay. I'm not worried about the New England game. I'm not worried about it's Marcus Mariota at the Falcons now, right? I'm not worried about the Falcons. Okay. I'm not worried about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
We're going to revisit this conversation. Hey, you know what? Hey, guess what?
Guess really bad after Thursday. I'm still not going to panic after Thursday.
I hope I'm wrong, Scott, but I don't think I am.
You got the Chargers at home.
Wrong, guess what? Herbert don't even start the Chargers. Don't even go there.
Chargers at home, not in the right time zone.
Hold on. Man, are you serious right now?
Dolphins don't scare me.
Oh my God. Okay. We're going to see. We're going to play this back, right? This is all recorded.
Don't scare me.
This is all recorded.
Commanders don't scare me.
It's not going to be a factor when we get to Houston because we're already going to be out.
Yeah, look, the Browns should beat the Steelers and the Falcons. They should lose to the Chargers. They should beat the Patriots. They should lose to the Ravens. They should beat the Bengals at home. They should beat the Dolphins on the road. They should lose to the Bills. They should lose to the Bucs. They should beat the Texans. They should lose to the Bengals on the road. They should get the Ravens at home. They should lose to the Saints. They should beat the Commanders. They should beat the Steelers. Browns going to win a lot of football games.
And people should wash their hands when they get done pissing, but they don't.
Oh, yeah, because they're going to lose. They're going to lose one of those games that they shouldn't, and then they're going to do something stupid like beat the Bills.
They lose a bunch of games they shouldn't.
They're going to do something stupid like beat the Bills, too.
No, that ain't going to happen. Not this year.
I think this team.
In Buffalo?
So I said they're going to do something stupid. They're going to do something stupid.
Okay. Okay.
But, if this team,
funny tonight.
Is your concern more with the players or the coaches?
My concern is with the coaches and that the players have given up on the coaches.
Yeah, you heard a lot of that.
Have you noticed some of the comments they were making back and forth? Like, one of the linemen said the fans can boo us if they want to. They deserve it. They pay their money. And Joe Johnson said the same thing. And I got a problem with Garrett saying he got mad because the fans booed. I'm more upset that they booed us. You're more upset they booed us? You had one tackle, my guy. You're supposed to be the face that runs the place, the franchise, the main man. Baker's gone. This is your team, Mr. Garrett.
He's
you sit there and tell the fans, you can't boo me. How much you getting paid a year? How much you producing to get that pay you getting a year? How much are the people that booed your ass were at work today working 9 to 5 so they can come down Thursday and watch you again, but you mad because they booed you. They can boo you to the almost went there. they can boo you till they're blue in the face there, Mr. Myles Garrett. Okay? They have that right to do that because they're fans that make sure you get your money. Because if they don't put no seats in the thing, you ain't getting paid. So therefore, you work for them, technically. Here's my
Myles Garrett is supposed to be a sack specialist, but he also has gotten pretty good at setting the edge and stopping the run. He had 16 sacks last year.
I ain't talking about last year. I'm talking about this year. We're talking about this game.
10, 13, 7. He's got 3 sacks already.
So what? So he ain't do shit. He ain't do shit Sunday.
Dude is going to have something. If he plays every game, he's going to have 20 sacks and something like 60 tackles.
20 sacks and no playoffs. What's that going to matter?
Myles Garrett is not. There's a lot wrong. There's a lot wrong with the Browns. Myles Garrett is one of the few things that is not wrong with the Browns. I can't go there.
Well, we disagree on that one because he had one damn tackle the whole game. Come on now. One tackle the whole game. You're the face of the franchise. You had one tackle.
Yeah. I mean, look, Myles Garrett is a pass rushing specialist who is double and triple teamed and held on every play. Look, you should never talk. You should never talk about the fans. That's stupid.
That's a
Myles Garrett's publicist is going to talk
to him. Move right there.
Myles Garrett's publicist is going to talk to him. Myles isn't going to make that mistake again. You don't boo the fans. You know what? Joe Bitonio said, I think almost what Joe Bitonio said is almost worse. Yeah, I don't care if the fans booed. I'm more upset about the game than they are, but he's correct. I mean, listen, how mad we are about the game.
He said the fans deserve to get booed. I think he said that.
Yeah. How mad do you think that Myles Garrett is about losing that game? He's the one who's destroying his body and putting in the work and all the training and everything, losing that game. We can get as mad as we want to, man. What did we do to prep for that game? Made sure the potato chips and beer were ready on the couch?
Come on, man.
What did I do to prep for that game, man?
Come on, man.
I rolled out of bed and turned on the TV and sat on the couch. I can be as mad as I want to. They are the ones who have broken their bodies and invested their entire life into playing this game. Sit there and they owe us. Okay, I mean, I get it. Fans pay their salary, but ultimately, as mad as we want to get over this stuff, we're watching people play a game. Ultimately, they're going to be more mad than we are.
So that jersey you bought right there, how much it cost you? The hat. You put money into their pockets. So you deserve the right. You deserve the right to be upset.
I can be upset.
I'm going to pull my hair out and all this crazy stuff, but you deserve the right to be upset that they lost.
Yeah. I get that, but I'm saying
they win.
But there's no way. There's no way that loss impacts me more than it impacts the players. There's no way.
I think a lot of players, we give them more credit than they are due. I think a lot of players don't care. Honestly, I could be wrong. I'm basing it on my opinion. I think a lot of players don't really care. I think a lot of players look at last year when the players would go downtown and just party after the game, after a loss, an embarrassing loss. They'd be at the bar drinking, having fun. Yeah, man. Not, hey, you know what? That was a loss. I'm gonna go sit here and reflect on this stuff. I've seen high school teams lose a game, and I've seen a running back go, I messed up on that, and do wind sprints just to get better. He ain't getting paid for this. It's his passion. It's what he loves. Or let me get an extra rep in the gym today because I wasn't strong enough to break that tackle last week. These guys, some of these guys, I'll put it that way, don't have that passion, that drive they may have had when they got there. I'm here now, so I'm getting paid. My contract is good. I'm good to go.
I'm sure some of those guys don't, but I'm sure those guys at the end who have been getting physically beat up, putting the work in, getting their bell rung, fighting through injuries, pretending they're not concussed so the concussion spotters can't find them. I'm sure at the end they're more upset over that loss than we are. They should be.
Well, here's the thing, though. Are you playing for passion or playing for money? More so. You got the money already. So are you playing out there for passion or just because you had a concussion because, hey, you know what? Maybe it's something in my contract where if I don't play.
Are you talking to Tom Brady? Because Tom Brady's playing for passion.
Thank you.
Tom
Brady gets mad about a game. He breaks an iPad. I don't think
Nick Chubb is playing for passion.
I don't think Myles Garrett is what everybody thinks he is. Sorry.
Myles Garrett's going to go down as one of the most dominant pass rushers.
I said he's overrated People disagree with me that he's overrated. Some people agree with me he's overrated. I think the media has blown him up to be this person that he's not. It's that simple.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else he has to do.
One
He gets a sack or two almost every game. He almost forces a turnover every game. The strip sack that Clowney had was caused by Myles Garrett because the guy who was supposed to guard Clowney was so preoccupied by Garrett he didn't react in time to Clowney. Myles Garrett takes on, he's almost always doubled. Sometimes he's tripled. They let them hold the man almost every play. He is a disruptive force.
Rotten Dono, but they still make more than one tackle a game.
Man, it's not like Myles is making one tackle a game every game.
He just did. He got 5 tackles 2 games.
But you're picking. He's a defensive end and a pass rush specialist. He's supposed to go after the quarterback. He's not going to be in a position to make tackles.
Oh, come on, man. God,
Myles Garrett's job is to get to the quarterback. His job and
he ain't doing either, is he?
What do you mean? He's got 3 sacks in 2 games. He's getting to the quarterback.
He didn't get to him. He didn't get to him Sunday.
He got to him once Sunday.
Once. Yeah. We needed more. We need to show up at the end of the game when they're about to chuck the ball on the field and score. You're the guy. Be the guy all the time. That's the moment you step up and make that play.
I'm going to tell you something, T. I started doing something on defense, and I maybe you do and maybe you don't. Every snap, I don't watch the ball. I watch 95. 95 is disruptive in making plays on every play, whether or not he's in on the tackle. Whether he's really good at sealing edges, he's good at forcing the run back inside. He may not be making the tackle, but 95 is good. And offenses are accounting everything to where 95 is. They're scheming around 95.
Rated. And he's going to show you I'm right by the end of this year.
I would say that if you watch him off the ball every snap, you might come different on that, but we'll see who's right. But I
see enough already.
95 to me is the best defensive end in the game.
Okay. We could disagree on that one, buddy. Disagree on that one all the way. He's overrated. There's other guys out there that's doing more disruptive, more damage. Look what Donald did in the Super Bowl last year. On nearly every single play, he was getting in Joe Burrow's face.
I don't think anyone wants to see how bad this defense would be without Myles Garrett. I just don't.
Okay. I'm gonna let that one go because we're not gonna agree on Myles Garrett being not overrated. I think he is. You think he's not. Time will tell. But we got 15 games left.
Crazy. I think the man might be underrated.
Oh my God, no.
Yes, I think the man might be underrated.
All right. What you drinking in that cup, man?
Lagavulin 16.
Let's get into
it's another peated whiskey from Isla.
That shit getting to your head. My God. You'll be okay though. I love you though. Oh my God.
I love you
all
too.
Right. We're doing this tonight, especially about Myles Garrett. But anyways, I argued Myles Garrett's case a few weeks ago, my boy Lonnie, because Lonnie was mad because he didn't make his comment about Baker Mayfield, and now I'm here destroying Myles Garrett. It's weird. Things happen. But again, if you came out there and had maybe 4 tackles, quarterback, sack, I may feel differently right now. But I think what triggered me about Myles Garrett is you had a subpar game. I'm not saying he doesn't have the ability to be that guy. That's what pisses me off the most. He has the ability to be that guy. But you're the face of this franchise now. We all know that. It's your team. It should have been your team before, but Baker came in there.
They're telling him every play, go get the quarterback. That's his assignment. Go get the quarterback.
I understand that.
So he's not going to be. Doesn't that take away how many tackles he's going to get?
If they give him the ball to the running back in the back, if they hand him the ball off, he should be right there.
Yeah, well.
I mean, if they're running the ball, he should be right there, right?
Not always.
Why not? He's literally running the ball right there. Why would that be the case? Do we lose Scott? Too much smoke for you, Scott. There's too much going on there. Let's look up the stats here. Myles Garrett. Not Myles Garrett, but the game last week. How many times did the Jets run the ball? Let's see. Jets ran the ball Where we at? No, that's not the Jets. Okay, here we go. I don't know what stats are on this thing. Bottom line is this: Jets had what 200 something yards rushing the ball. Okay, Scott's having difficulties with his battery or something like that. So, I guess I'll keep talking to myself for a minute here. But here's the fact of the matter is, Myles Garrett is not the guy everybody thinks he is. We got 15 games left to prove that. He can prove me wrong. And guys, if I'm wrong, guess what? I'll eat crow. You know what, Myles? You're the man. I don't see it. I ain't seen it for a while, actually, to tell you the truth. I think there's other guys out there that are better defensively than Myles Garrett is. You can use the excuse all day. He got triple teams. He got double teams. Other guys get double teamed too, but they still produce. Bosa's both produce. Watts both produce. Donald produces. Why isn't Myles Garrett doing that? The media has him chimed up to be this big guy on the same level as those guys. Can he be there? Yes. Can he be that elite player? Yes, he can be. But is he right now? No. The Browns are not showing up to play at all right now. Defensively, offensively, they're there. You got a backup quarterback running your offense who's giving you multiple leads in 2 games, but yet defense gave it away in the fourth quarter both times. But everybody's optimistic about the Browns about to go to the playoffs this year. It's not going to happen. Trubisky going to come in here Thursday night and destroy the Browns. And then when he's done with them, we're going to Atlanta and on turf getting that ass whooped by Mariota. So I love Scott to death. I hope I'm wrong, guys. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. And I haven't given enough faith in the Browns. I'm just being real. Another former classmate of mine today on Facebook was telling me that my views are from an emotional standpoint. Yeah, I'm emotional about it, but I'm basing it off what I've seen so far too. But don't we root for the Browns because we're emotional? When the Browns lose, we still show up. Browns went 0-16, people still showed up because it's an emotional game. So fans get emotionally invested in that. So it is what it is. I don't think Scott's coming back tonight, so I think we're going to bid you a fair due, and we're going to come back next week and try this again. Oh, actually 2 weeks. We do it every 2 weeks now. So we're going to let the Browns get 2 more games in. See, they got Pittsburgh and they got the Falcons, and then you'll hear from us again. And we'll break down these next 2 games and see if the Browns can make a run to the playoffs. I'm in week 2 saying they're not going to make it. We'll go from there and see what happens next week. But for Scott, whose battery died or whatever, I'm TJ, Lewis, our producer. I appreciate you. And we'll see you guys 2 weeks. Peace.